Hi everyone. I'm just going to be doing a quick demo on creating a Git repository, committing files, pushing them to a remote GitHub repository, and how you set that up. And yeah, hopefully this will help you sort of understand how repositories and Git works, as well as give you a clear understanding of how to collaborate with others and work in branches and with pull requests. Cool. So we start off with nothing. We start from scratch. So we have no repository, we have no project. So the first thing I'm going to do is open the terminal. I'm going to try and do as much as I can from the terminal just so it's clear what commands I'm running and what exactly I'm executing. And I'm going to create a project with the make dir command. So make dir, I'll call it git demo. Cool. And now I can cd into that. And I will put that in my VS Code window. So I have a new window here inside that folder, and I can open a terminal. And the thing is, I've created a folder, but this folder isn't a Git repository yet. In order to make it a Git repository and to initialize the .git folder, I have to run this git init command. Cool. So now we have an empty Git repository with no files in it. So the first thing you'll do in any project is maybe add a hello world file. Hello world. I can call it .java. Cool. And in here, I'll write my public static void main string args. And in here, I can put, system.out. Oh, that is the wrong language. System.out.println hello world. Great. And now the next step is to follow my workflow, and I'm going to git add this. So right now, this file is in my working directory, meaning it's in my changes. But if I git add it, it'll be added to my staging area, where it will be ready to be committed to my repository. So I can do git add dot, or I can do git add hello world Java. Great. And now I can commit it with the command git commit, and then -m. -m means message. And after this, I can put whatever message. So initial commit and enter. Cool, it's committed. So now you can see in this graph down here on the side, I have one initial commit, and cool. So now I have a local repository, but no GitHub repository. So if I were to say lose my files on my computer, I would lose this repository forever. So what I want to do is back it up to GitHub. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to GitHub and great. So now I'm signed in, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm in the Mercury 1089 organization just so that I can create the repository in here so that people can come and view it, fork it, do whatever they want in here. I'm going to create a new repository, call it Git Demo, and I can put a description, but I think I'll leave that blank for now. I'll keep it private, but uh, for most repos that you want other people to see, you'll keep it public. I don't need a template. Adding a README is optional. I think we can keep this off, keep the git ignore off, and we don't need a license. I can just click create repository, and now I have a GitHub repository. But you'll see that it's empty, right? It doesn't have that hello world.java that I added before. So how do I connect the two? So you can see actually Git gives you some instructions here for creating a new repository and putting it on here. So the first thing I have to do is name this branch. So right now, if I run the git status command, which shows me the status of my repository, of my working directory and staging area, you'll see that it says on branch master. Now, this is fine, but convention states that we call the main branch when you're committing to GitHub um, main. You call it main rather than master. So what we do is run the command git branch -m. Now notice that this, you can see in the instructions here as well, this flag has to be capital M. Um, so just make sure it's not lowercase m, it's capital M. Git branch -m main. Great. So now if you run git status again, you'll see we're on branch main. And then we need to add something called a remote. So what this remote is basically an indicator for your local repository saying this is the address where you can find my remote repository. So I guess I'll type out the command and show you. So you can say git remote add. This is adding a remote to your local repository, and you will have to add, well, the first argument is the name. So by convention, the name of your default remote is origin, and then you have your URL. So in this case, this would be github.com/mercury1089 slash, and then the name of your repository, git-demo, and then you need to add the .git extension at the end. So you can press enter, and now this is added as a remote. And you can look at the remotes by running the command git remote -v, which will show you all of the remotes in your project. So you can see there, it looks like there are two, but this is actually one. There's one remote. One of them is the fetch URL, meaning you will fetch from this URL. And the other one is push, meaning all your push command will push to this remote. Great. So now I guess the next step, right, in our workflow is just to run git push, right? Well, no, because git push has some specific quirk, I guess, which is when you run git push for the first time, or rather, when you are running git push on a branch for the first time. So in this case, this is the first time we're running git push on the main branch. You have to run with an extra flag. So you can run git push, and there are two versions to this command. There is the --set -upstream command flag, or there's the shorthand, which you can use, which is just -u. And then you need to put the name of the remote that you're using. So in this case, it's origin. And then you need to put the name of the remote branch that you're creating that will correspond to your local branch. So more often than not, it will be the same as the name of your local branch. In this case, my local branch is named main, and I want to push to my GitHub branch main. So it'll be the same. I can just put main, I can press enter, and wonderful. So now you can see at the bottom here, branch main set up to track origin/main. And what this means is my local main branch is set up to pull from and push to the GitHub repository's main branch. Wonderful. So now I just noticed something that I'm not following proper Java convention here with my class and my uh, file name. So let me make some changes and I'll show you how we can push that to the GitHub repository. So first of all, obviously the file name needs to be in um, whatever this is called, Pascal case, I think. And we need to enclose our main method in a class. So let's do that. Public class hello world, and then public static void main. And now if we were to run this, this would run, but I'm not going to run it now. So we made some more changes. Now what do we do? Well, if you remember back to what we did originally, we have our files in our changes section here in our working directory. So we're going to git add dot. And what that does is it adds all the files in our changes to our staging area. Then we git commit -n with some message. So I can say fixed file name and add class definition. Cool. Click enter. Now we've committed it. But remember, the commit command only adds this snapshot, this commit to our local repository. So what we have to do next is git push. And we don't have to add that extra -u origin main this time because we've set our remote, we've set our upstream to track the origin main. So we don't need to define that again. So we can just run git push and we're done. That's great. So now let's talk a little bit about branches, because this is the starter workflow. This is if you're working solely on the main branch, and this is nice if maybe you're working solo and it's a relatively simple project. You're just making commits and you're just pushing. That's all you need. However, if you are working with other people, say, and you need to add different features simultaneously. So one person is working on adding one feature, another person's adding on another feature. Well, if you're all working on the main branch, then it can get very messy because then people have to pull changes but also work on changes at the same time, and the commits will get mixed up and it can cause unnecessary conflict. So instead, what we're going to do is split up so that we are each working in our own feature branch. So the way we do this locally is, well, there are two ways. One way is with the git branch command. So you can create a branch off of your main branch with the git branch command. You say git branch and then your branch name, which I'll call feature slash. So the convention is the type of branch, so it's a feature branch. So I put feature slash and then the feature name. So I can call it feature dash one. Now that branch is created, and now what I have to do is, in order to actually commit to that branch, I have to run what's called the checkout command. So git checkout, or let me show you this. So if I run git status right now, you'll see that I'm on branch main. So if I run git checkout feature slash feature one, and then I run, you'll see it's switched to branch feature one. So if I run git status again, you'll see that I'm now on branch feature slash feature one. So now any changes I make, any commits I make will be committed to this branch instead. So I can go ahead and add a feature. Let's say I go back here, I want to add a file and I call it, I don't know, I can call it awesome feature.java. And in here, I public class awesome feature. And nice, VS Code has decided to autocomplete this for me, but I have a main method. It prints out this is an awesome feature. Amazing. So now I can go through add dot, adds it to my staging area. Then I notice how VS Code and other IDEs will give you areas where you can enter commit messages and commit things. I'm doing everything from the command line because it is very, very important to have a good understanding of the command line interface. And if you have that, you can work from any environment, really. So next thing I'm going to do, git commit -m, and then our message is going to be added an awesome feature. Now you'll notice that here on the side you can see it's committed to the feature slash feature one branch rather than the main branch. So you'll see that origin slash main is sitting over here, and feature slash feature one is one commit ahead. So if I run status, you'll see that still on feature one, nothing to commit. So what I can do is now I want to push it, right? But this time I'm not pushing to main, I'm pushing to the feature one branch. And if you remember what I said before, the first time we commit to GitHub on any branch, we have to include that -u flag. So I run git push -u. My remote is the same because I'm committing to the same repository, right? But it's just a different branch. So my remote is going to be origin still, but my branch, I can keep it, the same name as my local branch, feature slash feature -1. And if I run this, pushes, amazing. So now it gives me a little bit more information. I can create a pull request by visiting this. And it tells me that over here, feature slash feature one is set up to track origin slash feature slash feature one. So if I were to go back to my GitHub repository and I can reload here, you'll see that on my main branch, I have hello world.java. And it's strange that that isn't, the file name isn't different, but that's fine. Um, and then I have my feature slash feature one here. So I can switch branches here, and I can create what's called a pull request to merge the two branches. So let's say I'm done with feature one now, and I want to put feature one back into the main branch. So I can click this button here, compare and pull request. And what a pull request is essentially a request to merge my feature branch into my main branch. So here I write a title, added an awesome feature. I can write a description going into more detail about what exactly this feature covers and what all I changed, maybe what tests I ran to ensure that the feature was working correctly, um, and whatever else you need to add to let other developers know what exactly you worked on. Down here, you can see what all commits there were in this pull request or on this branch. And then once I'm done, I can click the create pull request, and it will put this pull request up here in this pull request tab. And what this allows us to do is let other developers, such as the people you're working with, or your mentor, or someone who's supervising you, any senior developers, it lets them look at this pull request. It lets them see what changes you made over here in the commits section. It also allows Git, if you were to set this up, it would allow you to run some automated tests on your code. And this is a very common feature in many large uh, software projects where you have automated checks running to make sure your code at least passes some very basic build tests. And then, yeah, and then when that's done, you can merge. So right now, you can see we have no conflicts with the base branch, so Git can automatically merge your code. So we click merge, and we confirm merge. And in a second, we will see how this can not be so easy, where you may have conflicts in your merge branch, and we will see how you can resolve them very easily. So cool. This branch, we're done with it. We don't need it anymore. We've merged our commit, so we can delete branch if we want to. It's optional. And we can go back here. Great. So if we reload, you'll see that we have awesome feature.java in our main branch. And yeah, so let's go back here. And you'll notice that if we run git status, right, we're still on branch feature one, even though I told it to delete feature one on GitHub, right? But you have to remember that the GitHub repository and our local repository are different. So the GitHub feature one branch may have been deleted, but our feature one branch still exists. So what we should do is check out of it and check out back into main so that we can keep working on the main branch. And then you'll notice that on the main branch, we don't have awesome features still. And that's because, again, we merged it in GitHub, but we did not merge it in our local repo. Like those changes haven't been reflected in our local repo. That's because we have to run git pull. And it's easy as that. We run git pull and our awesome feature is pulled in. Now let's create another branch. Um, and this time I will use the other method, a sort of shortcut. So another way you can do this is simply to do the checkout command. So you can run git checkout. And this time if you include a -b, lowercase b, flag, and then a branch name. So I can call this feature slash feature 2, and I click enter. And now what this does is it creates and switches to the branch automatically. So it does two commands in one. And then from here, I can say, let's create another feature. So actually, no, here's what we'll do. We are going to edit our original hello world class. So what we're going to do is say um, hello universe instead. And this is a very important feature because obviously we can't exclude the rest of the universe. So we've updated hello world.java, and let's say this is the entirety of our feature too. So we're gonna follow the normal steps: git add dot or git add hello world.java, and then git commit -m, and we can commit it as um, include the rest of the universe. Um, Git add. Looks like there's an issue, and it must be with the right. There it is. So instead, let's git add dot here. There we go, and then we git commit. And then we can git push. Oh, right, but I forgot. Since it's the first time we are committing on this branch, we need to include the -u and then origin feature slash feature two. Luckily, Git gives you a little warning there, and it gives you the right command to use. So now we've pushed it. So now if we go back to GitHub, we have our feature slash feature two branch, and it has hello world.java and awesome feature.java. Yeah. So now what I want to show you is something that could happen to you, um, and it's very important that you know how to go about navigating it and fixing it. So let's say we are another developer, right? And we're working on the main branch, and on the main branch, this is still hello world.java is still hello world, right? So we are going to, I don't know, maybe we want to add our own feature. So instead of saying hello world, we want to say hello, okay, FRC. Um, and we save that, and we git add dot, we git commit -m, um, saying hello to FRC. And now we push. Great. So now what's happened is we have we've branched off. So I can actually show you with a little diagram here. We're in the middle right now, and we've branched off to our feature branch. We've also gone one commit ahead on our main branch. So now the two branches are separate, and what's happened is we have a different version of this hello world file on each branch. So now let's say we git checkout feature slash feature two, and let's say we compare and pull request. Now you'll see here Git says can't automatically merge. So let's just create our pull request, and Git was going to try and run a check to see if we can automatically merge, and we can't. That's because hello world.java has some conflicts that has to be resolved. And that's because the main branch has one version and our feature branch has another version, hello world. So before we can merge, we have to tell Git this is the version that we want to accept into main. So I showed you guys how we can do this, how we can set up a pull request and merge on GitHub. And the way we resolve conflicts, GitHub gives us a very nice editor to be able to do this here. But what I want to show is how we can do it in a text editor using the merge command. So it's very similar. So if you know how to do it in the editor or in the terminal, you will know how to do it on GitHub. So we can go back here and I can run. So the command, you have to be on your feature branch here, feature slash feature two, and you should run the command git merge main. So you merge, here you put whatever branch you're merging into. Now Git says auto merging hello world.java, but now it notices that there's a conflict between main and feature two. So now Amazingly, VS Code opens an editor for us to allow us to resolve this conflict in the text file. So you can see here, up here, there's a line with these arrows and it says head, current change. Then there's a separator, and then down here, there's our main branches changes. So updating this is actually very nice because it gives us a few options. So we can either accept current change, which means we'd accept the Hello Universe version of this code. We can accept the incoming change, which means we'd accept the Hello FRC version, or we can accept both changes. And what that will do is keep both lines of code. Now, this is completely up to you. I will show you if we accept both changes, for example, this is what it would look like. If we accept incoming changes, hello FRC, and accept current change, hello universe. If you don't have these buttons, you can also do this manually by just deleting the lines you don't want. So you can delete this and then delete this, and that is the equivalent of accepting your current changes. So for our case, we are going to accept the current changes, and then this is just like any other commit. We are going to git add dot. Actually, I don't know if we have to git add here, but we can git add. And then we can git commit -m resolve merge conflicts, and then we can git push. Cool. So now we've pushed. Um, oh, right. So sorry, I made a mistake there. So what we did essentially is we ran git merge main on our local computer, and then we edited the file so to resolve any conflicts, and then we committed that file to the repository. And again, this was only on our local machine, so we had to git push to make sure that this was updated on our feature branch on GitHub. That is this resolve merge conflicts commit. And then now Git is happy. We can merge automatically. We click merge pull request, click confirm merge, and we are done. So now here we can git checkout main, and so here you'll notice that we're still in FRC, hello FRC, right? And that's because we merged with main. We merged with main here, but we have to git pull in order for the changes to reflect on our local repository. So now it says hello universe, and we're all up to date. Wonderful. So this is sort of an overview of how you can use branches to create different features. Different people can work on different features at the same time. Generally, you should have each person working on their own feature on their own branch, and then when they're ready to merge with the main branch, they open a pull request, and then they should ideally wait for at least one other person to look over their code and review it, just make sure it's all up to snuff, and then they can merge it, resolve any conflicts, and merge it. So yeah, that's about it for this demo. If you have any questions, feel free to pop me a message on Slack in the app channel. And yeah, good luck.